Good morning, everybody. Dave Schmidt along with Matt Nestor and producer Tom Warner. Let's get right to this today. We're talking right now with the head football coach for the Reavis Rams. They'll take on the Auburn Knights today in a 7A second-round game. Tim Zasada. Hey, Coach, how you doing? And thanks for being on today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on this morning. I'm doing pretty good right now. We'll see what happens in a few hours.
You know, Coach, when we followed up on you and Auburn have basically the same type of story. Coach Apino came over to a program that was struggling, has turned it around and put some wins on the board and got the program straight. It seems like you've done that same thing at Reavis, and it's really starting to pay off.
Yes. It's pretty much a similar story. When we kind of checked up on them as well, and Reavis for a long period was down. In 1983, they won the state title, and literally throughout the 80s, if you check back, they were a powerhouse. But then it just went dormant. I mean, I think they won one game in 2 years prior to our staff coming in, and we had our work cut out for us. We, as patient as I am, I'm really not that patient, but we knew that this wasn't going to be a quick turnaround, but it ended up happening in 4 years, or maybe even 3 years, when we made a little plunge last year with our junior class. So we're real proud of our staff and the job that our administration has done, just putting us in the right position and supporting us has really helped a lot.
You know, you guys have a great quarterback, and we'll certainly talk about him here in a moment, but what's around that quarterback? You know, often when you have a player like that, some other guys can get overshadowed. You know, who are some of the other players that really help this team go?
Well, we think we think first and foremost it starts with our offensive line. We have an offensive line coach, Tony Pape, who was an All-American at Michigan and played for the Chargers, and he gets those guys going. So James Rapp is our senior captain. He's our left tackle, and a lot of our guys play both ways, but our offensive line really has stepped up here in the last few years, and Coach Pape is one reason that they've done so. Once those guys open the holes, we feel we have two of the best running backs in our area, and they're a little different too. One's a little scat back in Khalid Norvell, who's our leading rusher this year, and the other one is just a do-everything type of guy, Travis Lazewski, who can run it and catch it and do whatever we need to do as one of our big players in our senior class. But, last week we had the wide receiver just step out of nowhere and catch for over 200 yards, and a junior Brantrell Seymour. We feature a wide receiver who's 6'4", 270 pounds. I mean, I don't know of too many people that have that, but he has great hands and he's got great footwork, and he's a great player in Mark McClinton. So we're kind of diverse. I know Coach Apino they do a great job, and they've done a great job turning their program around, but we're just sitting back thinking, how do you prepare for us? It's kind of tough. We can run it, we could throw it, our quarterback can run it, he could throw it, and our offensive line isn't too bad. But when you get into round two, all things change. It's great teams playing great teams, and who can be the greater is probably going to be the difference this evening.
It's got to be an advantage for you. You're going to be at home today. Now, do you have a turf field or you have natural grass there? Because, Auburn's used to playing on the turf a lot.
Yeah, we just, for the first year, we got a brand new turf facility. It's amazing. We've been wanting it for a long time, and we've been playing in the mud, and now we get an opportunity. And with this opportunity, our kids have taken quite advantage of it. I mean, we've been averaging a lot of points a game, and our kids are pretty fast on that field, as Rockford's are. So it should be a fast track today. The weather looks good, a little wind, but other than that, it's going to be fun.
That's one thing, is reading some stuff after some of your games, and a theme seems to be coaches saying, boy, we couldn't prepare for their speed. There was so much speed. We get that a lot with Auburn around here too, where coaches say, boy, they were faster than we thought. So, you kind of mentioned it was be a fast track today, two fast teams. How do you maybe prepare for a team that you think might be able to go out there and maybe match your speed?
Well, we're kind of blessed that we play in a conference that has that speed. So we're kind of used to it. Richards High School has been a traditional high school that's made it downstate and made it deep in the playoffs for a long time. We get to play them every year. This year we went out of state to play South Bend Adams, who made a long run in the Indiana State playoffs. Mm-hmm. And they're very, very fast. So, Eisenhower High School is in our conference as well. They've got some speed. So we kind of feel like as good as Rockford is, we've seen it. It's nothing that we haven't seen before. So we're hoping to play a little bit better defense than we did last week, though. That's for sure.
We're talking with Reavis head football coach Tim Zasada, and, I did watch that score last week. I thought I was watching a basketball game on Twitter. I mean, that thing was popping the whole time. How does that make you work a little harder as a coach?
Well, you go 9-1 and you give up 49 points, and you're the worst coach in the world. I mean, we're hammered in the stands. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't like guys were wide open in the coverage. I mean, we had guys there. They're a great football team, and I think what people don't understand is when you get into playoffs, whatever seed you are, you've got some kids that can make some plays. And Rolling Meadows had a quarterback that was outstanding. They had a couple wide receivers that made some unbelievable catches, and back and forth we went. So it was a wild one, but make no doubt about it. I mean, there was an emphasis on defense, and whether we win or lose today, we want to play better defensively. Because what we saw was not our best by far. And we've had some great defensive performances. And as you guys know, the fans will always forget about those types of performances. They just realize that, when you give up 49 at home, that's not good. And I agree with them. It's not good, but we're trying. It wasn't like we just handed them 49. They earned it.
Hey, the one thing I think everybody finds when they try to look into your team is you got a great 3-year starting quarterback in Isaiah. Is it Alpuche?
Al Puche is his name, yeah.
All right. What is it that he does that just makes him so great?
Well, he is a 3-year starter, so I think, number one, experience plays a lot. We played Lincoln Way East in the playoffs last year. He didn't do so well in the second round, but, he's kind of learned from that, and he's worked very hard. He wants to play college football, so, anytime you got guys that strive to play college football, they're going to do whatever it takes to make themselves noticed. Now, Isaiah is a dual threat. I mean, he's a lot of people don't think he can throw, yet he threw for 385 last week. He's had some games where he's 20 out of 24 for 285 against Shepherd. So given the chance, he's going to hit the target. Last year or the year before, maybe he was an athlete playing quarterback, just running the ball. This year, he brings a dimension where, hey, he's now throwing. He can run it and he can throw it. So it's real nice to have somebody who can make plays. And then when everything breaks down, and you as a coach, you call a bad play, and he turns it into a 46-yard gain, and you look like a genius, and you just go with it.
And he was Conference Player of the Year. That's a pretty big deal in your conference, I would say.
Yeah, we've had some big-time players be conference player of the year, but it was just a unanimous decision. I mean, when we sat around as coaches in the room and we talked about other players, and he really did consistently, week in and week out, make our team better. And most of the time when we left the field, everyone said, well, it's pretty obvious who the best player on the football field was. And I think that's what it came down to. The coaches were like, the guy is awesome, and he's done a great job, and he's well deserving of what he accomplished all year. So we're excited to have him. We want the season, obviously, to continue more, to see more of Isaiah Alpuche, but he'll play basketball, and he's just a tremendous athlete. He's an honor roll kid, carries a 3.1 GPA, works very, very hard in the classroom. So as a football coach, those guys don't really come around. When they do, you want to kind of just cherish those moments that I have with them and try to keep them going. So the one thing you can't see on film and you don't know about is he is a competitor, and it is of a high level. So he's going to get the job done, and if we end up getting beat here down the road, it's going to be by a much better football team across the board.
You guys have had a week, obviously, to kind of pour over tape for Auburn, prepare. What do you guys see when you look at Auburn, and without giving away state secrets here, what's going to be some of the keys for you guys in this game?
Well, I don't really think there's any secrets here now. I mean, I think good high school football coaches do their homework, and it's going to come down to who's going to make plays. We see a huge physical team. We haven't seen these types of defensive tackles, 300-pound guys, and a middle linebacker that fits in perfectly with those two. From a defensive standpoint, athletic in the secondary. So, we're going to be prepared. We might not hit a lot of quick strikes against this team because they can they can keep up, and they are going to be disciplined in their zones. And we think that if we do score, we're going to have to work for it, and they're going to make us work for it. You don't trick anybody in round 2, and certainly not Coach Apino. Your kids are going to have to win that game outright to beat a team like that. Offensively, they're very dynamic. I mean, they're starting to throw it a little bit better, and but they definitely can run the ball behind those big dudes, and they've got a scat back too that can make plays, and we call those types of guys game wreckers, and they've got a few of those that can you could be in the right position, and all of a sudden you can cross the field and 64 yards, here they go. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us. We're excited about that. We think that we're going to play better defensively, but we never know. I mean, those guys make plays, and we're just going to have to deal with it as the game comes along.
Well, thanks, Coach, for getting up early today to talk to us. Good luck to you today, and I appreciate it. It should be a fun day, and love high school football playoff time, and thanks for being here today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
We've been talking to Tim Zasada, the head football coach at Reavis. We had everything wrong. It's Reavis, he said.
It's Reavis, not Reavis.
Zasada, and anything. He was a good interview.
I did get Alpuche right, though.
Alpuche. That's a pretty good. What kind of name is that?
I couldn't tell you.
He's a good-looking kid, too. I mean, he does it all.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good matchup today. Coach Apino said he's just like having Jawan Parchment at quarterback.
Right.
So
I think that is going to be just, again, from a competitive standpoint, I think that is going to be one of the best games in the state today, honestly. I think you've got strength going against strength. Reavis comes with that great offense and a lot they can do there. Auburn coming with a great defense. I think you're going to see Auburn maybe give up some plays that they don't usually give up, but I also think you're going to see Reavis not get some plays that they usually get. So I think a lot of that game could come down to what the Auburn offense can do today.
Because they hang on to the ball.
Yeah,
for sure.
If they can hang on to the ball, if they can make some plays that they usually make, I think they've got a great chance to move on in this game.
And Yvonne's got to be kicking that football today, so that'll be good. So good to have him on today.
Yeah.
I always love it when you get a coach on, and he loved to talk about it, and he didn't really hold back on it.
No, not at all.
That's what I like about him. But it's kind of interesting that these two teams are meeting, and they basically have the same background. Programs that needed build up from the ground up, changing attitudes, changing minds, and he's a very confident coach too.
Exactly, and it just shows what a good coach can do. Now, obviously, you have to have talent. If you don't have talent, it doesn't matter who's coaching; you're not going to go anywhere. But it shows what a good coach can do when he gets in there with that talent, as far as, getting people focused, getting everybody on the same page, doing what they need to do, not only on the field, but off the field. And they've both done great things with those programs and got them going in the right direction.